Hello and welcome to the Witches Bitchin' Playlist, a XLP Studios production. Today I am joined with my partner Era, and we will be sharing our origin stories because everyone's story deserves to be told. So pizza rolls aside today, how are you doing?
I'm doing A-okay. I'm really tired. Going back to the pizza rolls, which is more important. These are the most bomb.com crunchy pizza rolls that I've ever had. And it's definitely hitting at like 9:30 at night.
So how does it feel to graduate college?
Yeah, I feel. I mean, it has its pros and its cons. It's really weird having all this time on my hands now. But I also feel like I have not made enough progress with my life. I feel like I'm really behind compared to maybe some other people my age. But at the same time, it's kind of nice, like being able to just go to work, come home, you don't have homework to do, you don't have class to attend. I just feel so behind. I feel like most people are getting married, having children, getting pets, getting a house, getting a new car. And I wish I could have all these things, but I also know it's just not feasible for me right now in my life.
So as you know, I'm graduating here soon in December of 2024. Do you have any recommendations on what not to do, what to do on that?
I would definitely say that you're getting into that last semester before you graduate. Don't slack off. Senioritis is going to kick in, and if you slack off and don't do the work, it'll kick your ass. One thing with college is you definitely do not want to leave with regrets, because that's time that you're never going to get back. I would also say follow your dreams, follow your goals, and have a plan, and don't try to rearrange your entire life for someone, because at the end of the day it's just not really worth it. I think it's important to put yourself first and really think about what it is that you want, really reflect on the time that you have left and what you want to make of it. I want to ask you that, as a college student, what are you most looking forward to when you do graduate?
I'm just looking forward to being done with classes. Classes just take a lot of energy and time, and I really just want to go to work, clock in, clock out, go home. I don't want to have to worry about, oh, I missed an assignment, or oh, I need to do this before I can actually do anything or relax. More so don't want the homework side to ruin my personal life anymore. As you know, I'm going into my last semester of university. Now I have to take 19 credit hours, and I feel like that's just going to take up a lot of time. Plus I'll be working close to full-time hours.
Do you feel like, as you had mentioned previous, that you're on your last semester, do you feel like you have any regrets thus far in your college career?
I don't really have any regrets. It's more so wishing things turned out different than they did. Especially, I was in a fraternity that just didn't really work out. Everybody wanted to go in a different direction.
Do you feel like, had you not joined Greek life at the university, do you think your life would have turned out differently?
Joining Greek life, I don't think really changed a lot of who I was. It just more so brought out who was already there. One thing that Greek life has taught me is you really can't rely on people who you think you're close to just because you pay a lot of money to be there. It's something I noticed, especially after I dropped. I needed help from a couple of fraternity brothers, and it was kind of like dragging teeth. Actually get help after I dropped. They kind of just stopped talking to me altogether.
So for our young viewers out there getting ready to go to college, or they're already in college, would you recommend that to our viewers? Would you recommend Greek life?
It really depends on the campus. Since we go to the same school, the campus here just isn't very conducive to Greek life. It also really depends on the goals of the individual. how they align with a certain organization. I don't really recommend going into a known party, fraternity, or sorority, just because that if you go in thinking, oh yeah, I'm gonna party all the time, you're gonna fail your classes. Something I noticed is freshman year, before I joined my fraternity, I joined halfway through my first semester, freshman year. I was doing good in all my classes. I was getting A's, B's, C's. The moment I joined the fraternity, after I became initiated, after I started being a part of the fraternity, my grades started to suffer. And not only did my grades suffer, my personal relationships with other people suffered. This could just be a case of me not being able to balance different lifestyles and all that, but I recommend doing your research before joining an organization. Get to know the individuals before you join.
Is there anything that you are looking forward to when you graduate?
Honestly, once I graduate, I'm looking forward to maybe going into the IT career. I'm currently studying IT at a university. Hopefully I can get into that career. What kind of career are you looking forward to going into?
I'm really hoping that I'll be able to use my degree as an English major and having sort of a general degree in English, kind of an umbrella term, so it's really anything I want to do. At the time being, I'm really hoping to get into publishing and being an editor. Specific, I'd like to be a genre editor for a publishing press, either working with literature or working with magazines. I really love being able to read other people's work, and I really love being able to critique it and make edits and be able to communicate and collaborate with aspiring young authors, just aspiring authors in general. I'm always interested in learning about people every single day. I love originality, which is hard to find nowadays. I know to some people that may seem more like a hobby, but to me, I hope to able to make a career out of it.
You mentioned originality, and I just wanted to know since I'm a computer technology guy and I'm supposed to care about AI, I sometimes use AI, and sometimes I'm not satisfied with the answer. What is your opinion on artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence, if you were to ask for my personal opinion on it, and going through it as I was a student, I do think that it can be helpful to sort of give you ideas and give you a general sense of direction if you're somebody that you have writer's block, or you have an idea but you don't know how to quite get it down on your computer or on paper. It can be a really effective way to get a start, to get something going. However, I don't think AI should be used to actually craft what it is that you're trying to write. My professional opinion is, while I do think that AI could be helpful, it does bring up a lot of issues, at least for my career, because I was trained to be able to look out for AI, how to detect it, and what to do in situations when people use it, especially in the publishing world, because you can't accept pieces that are artificially generated, that isn't your own words, isn't your own ideas. I do think that it's important that we try to integrate AI, because I feel like it's kind of inevitable at the point of progress that's made thus far, but I do still think it has a long way to go before we can truly utilize the power and the capabilities it will have, and how it's going to impact the workforce.
So how would you feel about AI and using it for like a checking program? Like, I'm in IT, so I have to learn how to write code. And how would you feel if like I write a piece of code and I needed to see if it would actually work, and or if the code didn't work and I just gave it to ChatGPT to help me fix it? Kind of like a spell check for like programming or something like that.
I can see how it would be effective in the IT world in that sense, especially because I know with coding, like if one little thing's wrong, then your entire thing ends up being wrong. I do have my worries and hesitations about it, because if you're seemingly a professional and you're building code for a set professional website or some kind of professional company, whatnot, then I kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe it's making that person kind of lazy. If you're having the AI kind of help you do the work and or do all the work for you, I think it should be kind of left up to as like a tool in your pocket if you need it, but I don't think you should necessarily rely on it, and you shouldn't let it do your job for you. At the end of the day, I think if you, as the IT person, you should still have that common knowledge and base knowledge you need to be able to figure it out for yourself before you seek assistance.
Now is the point in the podcast where I'm going to start pointing it towards our subject today, origin stories.
I don't know, I guess my origin story is I recently graduated student from university, and at the time being, I am working casual everyday 5 days a week job. I'm really burnt out. I'm really tired. I'm really not that interesting. My hobbies include reading, playing video games, binge watching new TV series. I'm a foodie. I like going out to eat. I say that maybe too confidently when I have the palate of a 5-year-old, because if it's not chicken nuggies and french fries and mac and cheese, I'm like, no, I don't like it. I love gardening. I like being in touch with nature, very in tune with plants, very in tune with the emotions and the life of a home. That makes me sound probably nuts. I don't know, as of late, I've really begun to question just kind of everything in my life. Starting to question what my purpose is, and I'm really starting to question what is God's intent for me, and what am I supposed to do next? Because to be honest with you, I really don't have a plan. I'm kind of just living, surviving, really, but I don't have a game plan, and that's very unusual for me. And so, sort of, even that transition before I graduated, I was just in a really weird time in my life, a really weird phase. I had to put up with a lot of things that was definitely a curveball thrown my way that I had no clue how I was going to deal with, if I dealt with it in the most appropriate, effective way. I guess at the time being, my origin story is I'm just one person from a small town, and I'm trying to figure it out along the way as I go. I try to take it a day by day.
That's very interesting.
Oh, well, not really. It's more, if anything, depressing.
Well, I hope you do end up finding a game plan or something to look forward to. I guess it's time for me to share my origin story. I feel like I've been nameless long enough. My name is Josh. I am from a small town west of Chicago. I enjoy playing video games, recording YouTube videos, and live streaming, anything tech related. As some of you may know, I haven't posted in a while on either of my channels. I have a gaming channel and this channel, and that's just because I really haven't had time to. I've been focusing on school, and every time I'm not focusing on school, I'm working. Basically, I have a couple friends here and there. A couple of them helped founded this channel. One of them is I have no idea where, and the other one, he's just at home working. As I said earlier, I am currently in university and I'm studying in the IT field, and I hope to eventually be in the IT field. That's pretty much it. Just trying to finish up school and then decide where to go to next.
Anyways, so not the most exciting people. Yeah, I mean, we thought, why not do a podcast?
So, some of you guys might be wondering why we named the podcast The Witches Bitchin' Playlist.
Yeah, so it's one of your hosts here, Arrow, and I'm into witchy shit. I come from a long line of witches, although I'm not entirely sure what the origin of that is. I'm still trying to do my research and history on that one. Kind of running into a snag on how to get out more information, especially when the information I need is from people that are dead. Interestingly enough, though, the witchiness is passed through members of my family, and I was lucky enough to be able to inherit said witchy shit. I don't know that I necessarily have a label on what path I follow per se, like Wiccan or pagan. I don't know that I really fit into those categories, maybe. I kind of just do my own thing when I want to and, well, when I have time. Even though I was born with some abilities, still kind of considered a witch, and I still have a lot to learn and a lot to research before I really immerse myself in my practice. If I had to put a label on sort of what my goals are with that, I'd really be into being a kitchen witch. I do a lot of cooking. I like to make a lot of stuff from scratch, and I really like getting into like greenery, so dealing with like herbs and plants and that sort of thing. Other than that, I like to journal and do manifestations about my career goals, my professional goals, and also just goals of my future and what I hope that I will become and how I can change as an individual from now until, the future. This really helps me to be able to open up the floodgates and really do some self-reflection, but also to really be in tune with my emotions and be in tune with my spirit guides, and to thank the other side for all of their help and guidance. I mean, that's really much there is to it. I'm proud to say that I practice witchcraft. I'm proud to say so. I'm really happy that witchcraft is becoming more mainstream. It's becoming more popular, and people are starting to really ask questions about it, and it's sort of become something that's less taboo to talk about, so that makes me really excited. My dream style, if I was able to decorate my home and dress the way I want to, that really reflects my practice, would probably be whimsical goth. I always think it's really fascinating, kind of hippie, and kind of edgy and out there. I regularly clean my home, I do smoke cleansing, I do lipopia cleansing, which is cleansing yourself and the negativity out of your body with an egg, which is one of my favorite rituals to do. I really just try to take a deep breath, and the best thing I can do for myself and within my practice is to be honest, but also address the things that I need to talk about, whether that's issues that I'm having or things that I do really well and that I'm really happy with and the progress that I've made or maybe I haven't made. I hope to carry that sort of ideals and reflections into my personal life, and to kind of help keep my perception well-rounded of who I am as a person, the reality of the kind of world that we live in, and the reality of how, the who, what, and how I can become what I want to be in the future.
So that is basically why we call it the Witches Bitchin' Playlist. Something interesting that kind of happened right before we started recording today. Like, I was currently trying to get the pizza rolls. I made some pizza rolls for the podcast.
Listen, they were bomb. They were bomb pizza rolls. That's the most important thing you'll learn from this podcast today. Pizza rolls in the oven are bomb.
So, what would you say, what happened right before?
Yeah, so I'll gladly talk about it. I had sort of this vision in my head, which I do get visions, but it's very rare that I get them while I'm awake. I usually don't get visions unless I'm asleep, but sitting on my desk at the time, I have burned sage and I have burned Palo Santo in front of me, and I had this overwhelming sensation like I had to write this down, so I ended up channeling some type of sigil and or symbol, and to be honest with you, I'm kind of stuck on what it means. I literally just picked up the burned Santo like it was a pen or a pencil, and I literally just started drawing what this symbol looked like, and I'm still trying to wrap my brain around what it means. I think that whenever I have the time, there's a reason why I channeled this symbol. There's a reason why I felt the need to have to write this down, and so what I'm hoping is by next episode that we can take a couple minutes to talk about said symbol and talk about and reveal what the intent, the message, and or the reason why I manifested the said mysterious sigil.
I tried to do a quick Google search with the Google Lens, and Google really hasn't been helpful. So we are currently waiting on one of her friends to get back to her on what possibly this symbol could mean. So hopefully before the next episode we can figure that out. But I think that's gonna wrap up today's episode of Origin Stories and the origin story of the podcast.
Yeah, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you for being very patient with us. We know that this podcast is kind of all over the place, very trial and error, and it's very new to us. So we're hoping by, once we get rolling with these podcasts and recording these episodes, that we will have our shit together and we'll have a more cohesive and interesting podcast to be able to have you guys listen to.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and before we eat the last pizza roll, just want to say, if you liked the content you have seen, make sure you guys leave a like, and also, if you want to see more of the content in the future, please subscribe. Without further ado, my name is Josh, and XLP Studios thanks you for watching.